Hi, my name is Erin Robinson, and I'm the next guest on Screen and Beyond.
On Screen and Beyond, an inside look into the entertainment world featuring interviews with people from the movie, TV, and music industry. And now, here's the host of On Screen and Beyond, Brian Zemrak.
Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, whenever you're watching or listening to On Screen and Beyond. Thank you for joining me. This is the show that each week brings you a guest from the movie, TV, or music industry as they share their journey, their projects, their stories, all with us right here. And our guest this week is Erin Robinson, who is one of the cast members of the season 2 of Your Friends and Neighbors, starring Jon Hamm. Now, if you haven't watched that show, you've got to watch it. Also stars Amanda Peet and Olivia Munn, and also James Marsden is a new character on the show, and of course Erin is going to be on the show. So Erin's going to be joining us in just a moment, and we'll get into that in just a second. Be sure to check out On Screen and Beyond on onscreenandbeyond.com, and there you'll find all the episodes of the show all way back to season 1 with our first interview with Mickey Jones, who was on Home Improvement with Tim Allen way back when. And he also was a drummer for Kenny Rogers in the first edition when they gave us the hit song, Just Dropped In to See What Condition My Condition was in. So be sure to check that one out and all the other shows right here on Screen and Beyond, over 780 of them. And if you are listening to this episode, remember you can also watch the show on Spotify or on YouTube and see our guests as well as, getting to a little more know them by seeing them. And if you're watching the episode, don't forget that you can still listen to the show in your car, at work, in the gym, when you're jogging down the road, or whatever, by downloading the audio version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts. We're usually there. And I want to thank you all. Please follow us on YouTube and also on Instagram and Facebook. And if you have a suggestion for a guest or have a question, you can email me at feedback@onscreenandbeyond.com. And thank you to all of you who have emailed me. Love hearing from you. And also, I love reading the comments that you put up on YouTube. So it's a lot of fun doing that. And if you have not started watching season 2 of Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple Plus, get onto it, because our guest is from that show on season 2, and you have seen her, and she's next. Erin Robinson, right here on Screen and Beyond. Today on Screen and Beyond, our guest plays the role of Delilah Ashe on season 2 of Apple TV Plus's Your Friends and Neighbors, starring Jon Hamm. She previously has been seen on Wonderkinder and in Moonrise. It's Erin Robinson. Erin, welcome to On Screen and Beyond.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on. And Erin, I have watched this show, season 1, but I got to be honest, I have not started season 2 yet. Just been
Uh,
been busy, so but I gotta
well, I,
watch it because
well, I know you won't try to get me on any spoilers, so that's perfect news to me.
well, I will. That's one thing I will be very vague. Even if I had watched it, I'm
Yeah.
always I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So I always ask the person that's on, and I'm going to let you do this. Explain to our audience, in case they haven't seen any of the Your Friends and Neighbors, explain them what the story is about, and then go into what your role in it is.
hmm So basically, the show stars Jon Hamm, who plays Andrew Cooper, known as Coop, and he is a hedge fund manager, and he has a family, and he lives in this nice neighborhood, and there's some family scandal, some cheating that goes on, and basically his life crumbles in his eyes, and he gets fired, and he resorts to stealing and he becomes a criminal. And basically, all the drama and dark comedy and everything sparks from that whole storyline. But there's so many more storylines and situations happening between that. But basically, my new character for season two is I am a new neighbor along with my father, Owen Ash, who's played by James Marsden. And we come to the neighborhood and stir up some drama. And my character finds herself taking a liking into Coop's son. So that's how I also join that whole family line. And yeah, it's a really fun watch. So I would make sure to watch it if you have the chance.
Now, you have to be, I mean, just over the moon getting this part because I mean, look who's in it: James Marsden, John Hamm, Amanda Peet, Olivia Munn. I mean, this is a dream role for a lot of people.
Oh, 100%. And what's crazy is when I got the audition, the name of the show was different. It was like fake to like, because since the first season was already out, I would have been able to look it up, you know? So they gave me like fake stuff. And whenever I found out, I actually didn't find out who was playing my dad until the day before our like fake family photos. And I just like, it was such a fast move because I was from LA to move to New York and experience all this. So first off, when I found out what the show was, I was shocked because I've already been hearing about the show just from like PR and just everything. Like I already knew that about what this show was, and I knew people that watched it and enjoyed it. So that was crazy. And then finding out who I was getting to work with was even more insane. So I feel honored to have been selected to be a part of the show.
So how was the process for getting, the role? Was it, do they approach you or do they, your manager, whatever, or do they turn around and, I know they don't do open calls anymore after COVID. That sort of stopped. I know everybody tells me that, but what was the process of getting the role?
It honestly was just like a very normal audition, very fast. I got the self-tape from my manager. My voice was gone because I was shooting a movie before where I had to like scream all day. And I remember in my slate being like, I'm so sorry, my voice is gone. And I was blonde and the character was supposed to be brunette. And my agents like used one of my brunette headshots. And so I was like, sorry, I had to dye my hair for a role and my voice is gone. So I was like, there's no way I have a shot at this part. And I remember I used my mom as my reader over Zoom and I was in a rush and I was like, I'll just turn it in. And then I got told I had a callback. And then they were like, they want you to dye your hair for the callback. And I was like, what? Like, this is my hair. Like, I had no clue how big this project was. I was like, what are they asking of me? Like, what? And then we convinced them to let me just keep my hair for the callback. And it was one chemistry read with Donovan, who plays Hunter Cooper. And literally, like 2 days later, I found out I got the part. So it was so fast, I like didn't even have time to process it. And then the next week, the next 2 days, I had a hair appointment in New York to dye my hair brown. And that was it.
So when you do an audition tape like that, uh,
Mhm.
is that do you try to make do they give you hints about what the character looks like or what they're looking for or I mean or are you just winging it and guessing what they might be looking like?
Honestly, this character description was one of the most vague character descriptions I'd ever been given. And it helped because there was like the scenes were both like different, but had like good like hints of what the character would be. And so I honestly think that my like first guess of her was like correct. And then I just got to dive into it and get all the scripts and talk to the writers and directors and figure everything out, which was so fun. But I really didn't have much detail. And I remember in my callback, they were like, do you have any questions? And I was like, actually, yes. Like, can you explain the character a little bit more to me just so I can make sure? And they're like, everything you were doing was like what we're looking for. But like, if you want to add in that she's very well traveled, she's mature. And so it was so fast. It was crazy.
Was it filmed in New York or did you go out to LA for it to film it?
No, it was filmed in New York. We filmed in some upstate New York areas. We filmed a show. I probably shouldn't say that like be a spoiler. We filmed in some areas around New York, so that was really fun because I never lived in New York, so I got to like explore all the parts of New York, which is really cool.
Yeah. Now, how long, most of the episodes now are for a season is, 8 to 10 or something like that. But how long does it take to shoot a series like that now?
I think I was there for around 4, 5 months this summer.
Wow.
It was a long stretch. And also, I mean, just an episode takes so much longer than people think. Like last week, episode 4 came out, and I remember that was like one of my favorite weeks on set because it took us like a whole week to do one scene. And in my character, she's not in like every single scene. So like for me, like that was like so exciting to get to be there all week. And it was like a big scene with like literally almost every single character. So that's when I really got to meet everyone and interact. So, I mean, one scene for me took an entire week, waking up at like 5 a.m. every morning. So it takes a lot longer than people expect.
Yeah. How late do you have to work when you're doing a scene like that?
There's laws of how long you can be on set, so it really depends what time you start. But my first day on set, there were lightning delays, and I remember I got there like later, like they weren't working me overtime, like we started a lot later. But I remember we wrapped at like 3 a.m. and that was my first day on set, and that was like I was freshly, maybe not freshly, but I was 18, so that was one of my first like adult jobs, like without my parents there, and I was like, wow, I feel so adult, like I'm rapping and like getting dropped off back in the city like at 3 a.m. I was like, that's so crazy.
So now I'm not trying to get any spoilers here or anything like that, but
I
but
trust.
when I do watch it, are we going to possibly see you in season 3, or is there?
I
I know.
say that.
No problem. I understand. It's always tough asking those questions, because what's going to happen? Is it going to blow up, or I mean, James Marsden was in paradise there, but just for a short while because he ended up being the president and getting killed. So, you know,
You never know.
yeah, yeah. So, but no, it's an excellent show, and I'm sure you're very thrilled about getting that.
Yes, I mean, I couldn't be more thankful. I explained the whole experience to everyone as it being like an actor masterclass. Like, I got to move to the city at 18, explore this new town, and I would go to work and be paid to work with these actors. I was like, this is so much fun, and I'm learning so much every day. I was like, this doesn't even feel like real life. So I'm so grateful for it every day. And with these episodes coming out every week, it just makes me reflect more on the amazing experience and how thankful I am for this to be one of my like first big projects because it really taught me how I want to hold myself as an actor and boundaries for what I want for my career. So it was
Mhm.
amazing.
What was it like working with James Marsden? I presume you have scenes with him. He's your father in the show, so.
Yes, honestly, less than you would think though. We don't have the best relationship, so you'll find that out when you watch. But it was so fun because our characters don't like each other, and so we would like just talk on set and be like friendly. And he's from Oklahoma and I'm from Texas, so we'd like talk about like Southern things and then just like funny things we had in common. And then we would like be on set and I'd be like, "Stop it, Dad." And I'd just be like so rude to him. So it was just so funny. Watching him work was insane too, because his character is a little crazy if you watch the show. So it's like watching these actors just be them normal, like happy selves, and then snap in a second when they say action was like so crazy to me. Because I was like, I don't know if like as an actor I should like stay in the zone and like seem really professional and like right before the scene. And I was like, no, like as long as you know what you're doing and you have your scenes prepared, you don't need to be like that on set. I mean, every actor has their different way of doing it, and especially if it's a really emotional scene, I get it. But it was so cool to watch them just be nice and fun and then just like do this amazing, incredible performance. I'm like, where did that come from? Who are you?
Well, I was going to ask you that how, because you hear some actors get into the part and then they stay in it, even offset. And it's like, wow, how do you do that? How are you screaming at somebody and then you continue to be in character after you get off the scene. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone on that set had that with them. Honestly, maybe I didn't get to see some of like the darker scenes for a character and I didn't see the way they left set that day. But it was just such a fun set, like family environment that I think people wouldn't want to like not talk to each other. Like everyone was just like friends.
John Hamm, what was it like working with John?
Wow. That was the craziest for me mentally, I would say, because just the way my parents, when they found out I booked it, being like, wow, this is John Hamm. And I went through like his whole like discography, like before going on set. And it was so crazy because he just was like, hi, I'm John, and stuck his hand out and then gave me a hug. And I was like, I know who you are. I was like, thank you for letting me be a part of your project. The coolest part, I would say, was watching him also be a producer because a lot of actors like produce and work on the same projects, but I've never gotten to see what that looked like firsthand. So I'm like, how much work as a producer are these actors really putting into the project versus just acting? And he like had multiple responsibilities. He would be friendly, he would go in and out of his character, and then he would go in and out of producer mode, telling people what needed to be done. And everyone respected him so much that it created such a great environment because if John said something, everyone did it in a second. And it wasn't like we had to yell and get to that point. It was just like, okay, John says it, we do it. And it was so cool to see him be the producer and the actor and just like a normal human all in one on set.
Yeah. Because as the viewers, we sometimes wonder, we'll see 20 actors that are
Hmm.
in the film as also executive producers. And you always wonder, well, is that just because they have the power to become an executive producer or but not really do anything, and so it's always it's neat to hear that some actually are doing something.
Yeah, no, it was really neat to watch. I was so impressed.
Yep. You ever think you would go into producing or directing or anything like that?
100%. And I had the thought the other day where I was like, every actor starts from somewhere. This is one of my first big parts, and I'm working with John Hamm, who created this show and is getting to act in it. Like I'm in the perfect position and the perfect start. If I keep working hard, I mean, I shouldn't have any excuses. I've been given such an amazing opportunity with this project. I just need to keep riding the wave and working hard and just working myself up there. So I would love if that opportunity presented itself later down.
Hi, I'm James Pickens Jr., and I'm a guest On Screen and Beyond.
So are you watching like you say, the executive producer, seeing what they're doing, watching the director, getting ideas of what they do, or are you sitting in your trailer eating bonbons while, while everybody else is doing their parts?
I honestly would say I feel like I was almost like Erin, like you can like go back to your trailer. Like I wanted to be on set after I wrapped because I was like wrapped before some of the leads. I like was still in New York. I was like, "Hey, can I just pull up to set?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I just like came and hung out and watched. Like I love just being in that environment. Like I didn't want to be in my trailer if I didn't have to. Like they could not give me one. I'd be be like, "Let me just sit on set and watch here." I mean, I did take the free matcha that they were handing out as well, but I would watch the scenes and everything while holding my matcha. So, give and take.
Now, when did you first start getting the acting bug? How did that come about?
I was a competitive dancer when I was younger, so there were some people in my like circle from my hometown that also did acting, and I was like, "Oh, that seems really fun. Like, I want to do that." And so I had an agent in Dallas that was just like commercial and like modeling, and I sort of started getting sent out on like actual stuff, but like I didn't have the like heart for acting. I was just like, "Okay." And then COVID hit, and I was bored, and I just was like deep diving into all these actor interviews and behind the scenes, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like that was like my COVID like rabbit hole was just like reading everything on acting that I could. So that was a hard time because acting really, the industry slowed down. So it gave me a lot of time to like learn what I wanted to do. And then ever since then, it's just been like this. Or I also have an associate's degree in just film and I love screenwriting. So I I would love to also dabble in that. There's just this whole industry I just kind of fell in love with during COVID.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a lot of different people on. A couple of weeks ago, I had a guy on who actually has been in a lot of different TV shows, and he
Mhm.
went on and he wrote a short, became an Oscar winner with his short. So,
Oh, that's
I mean,
amazing.
it's amazing what you can do. You start out doing one thing, but then everybody seems to branch off into other things.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities within this world, and especially the more you start meeting people and making those connections, it just feels so much more possible when this dream felt so far when I was a kid.
Yeah. So you said you were a dancer. Are you a singer also? Do you sing?
I wish. I wish I can maybe hold a tune for a singing audition, but would need some training if I had to take up singing for a part.
Now, do they ever take people who don't really uh, aren't really comfortable with singing and give them a part still and say, okay, we're going to show you how to sing. Does that happen ever? Have you ever heard of that?
No, yeah, I've heard of that. That's why, like, I'll take an audition that says singing required. I'm like, okay, well, if you're taking me, you're taking that risk. But like in the movie The Greatest Showman, I remember the like opera singer, the actor, that's not actually her singing. It's like a different person. They just put it over her
That's
singing
true.
thing. So if they really want you and it's really meant to be your part, you'll either learn the trait or they'll find a way to morph it and make it
Yeah.
seem real.
Yeah. Nowadays they can do so much with the
Yeah.
with the AI and everything else.
Hi, I'm Rick Cosnett, and I am on Screen and Beyond.
Now,
That's
how about inspirations? Are there any actors who were inspirations to you as you were getting into acting?
I've always loved Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's hilarious. I just love her personality. And that's a big thing to me is like I want to love the actor as a human and then respect their work. Like it's hard for me to like them if I'm not have like feel like I have a connection. So Jennifer Lawrence, because everyone watches like Hunger Games when they're younger and thinks that's like the sickest movie ever. So that was also like a inspiration for me for acting. Jennifer Lawrence. I'm trying to
And
think.
you mentioned Jennifer Lawrence, and now that I'm looking at you, it's like you sort of look a little like her.
I'm so honored. Wow. I think she's so talented. I mean, she has an Oscar. She's so funny. She seems so humble as well. Like she's just an inspiration, I would say. And she has a good range of comedy and drama, and I love that because I would hate to be like stuck in like one genre, and everyone just looks at you as that type of an actor. But I feel like she's respected as a woman in the industry as well as just like a talent. Like she's not into one mold, and I love that.
What about future projects? What do you have? What projects? Because I looked on obviously I do a little research and I see on IMDb or you've got some projects coming up, but we always don't know if those are absolutely definite because you never know what's happening with them. But do you
Yeah,
have projects that you can tell us about?
I have one called Act One that's going to be in the Tribeca Film Festival, June 10th, 11th, and 13th, I think. And I shot that like 2 summers ago in New York, and that was a really fun one. Some really talented actors are a part of that project. I also have one called Override that I know is in production, and also some amazing talented actresses in that project as well. So I'm excited for those to come out and see that. But, I'm just auditioning, just working, just.
What would be your ultimate role that you could get?
Ooh, my ultimate role. I love Sofia Coppola. To be in one of her films would just make my actor heart, teenage actor heart, just so complete. Like that would be like the end game goal for me. I would be so honored to get to work with Sophia and create a character. I would say like a darker, like kind of twisted character that has like a crazy character arc that like shocks the audience would be really fun to play. But anything Sofia Coppola,
Yeah.
even just make me an extra. I just want to work with her.
What about what style? A comedy or an action thriller or something? What type of movie would you also like to do?
I would say like a dark like drama. I love the psychological thrillers. Those are like my favorite to watch. So, and I feel like this show kind of like I really love comedy. So that's why I feel like this show was like perfect for me because it's a dark comedy. And so I feel like it sets up that like dark genre already. So hopefully I can just grow in that.
If people want to keep an eye on what you're doing, is there a place? Do you have any socials that they can follow or anything like that?
I have Instagram. It has a lot of underscores in the username, so get ready. But it's underscore Erin underscore Robinson underscore underscore.
Now, I'm going to ask you why all the underscores?
'Cause the original name Erin Robinson was taken up, so I had to get creative.
Hmm. I notice a lot of people do that. But they'll do some will do, like Erin Robinson official,
Yeah.
like that, so it's,
Yeah.
but yeah, so people can go there and then find out maybe what shows or movies you're going to be going into.
Yes, definitely.
Well, that's good.
Instagram is the main one, I would say.
Okay. Now we're going to finish up with one final question here.
Mhm.
And if people tell me this is the toughest one, so we'll see what you think about this one. But before I do that, once again, congratulations on the role because, like I
Yeah.
say, this seems like this is where you're going to start skyrocketing, with this role, and it's exciting to see you starting out and heading. I mean, I say starting out. You've been doing films for a while and TV shows and things,
Yeah.
but this level of a show is is
Yeah.
really something. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But when you sit back and relax, what are your favorite TV shows now and of the past? And what's your favorite movies now and of the past? What do you enjoy?
Dang, that is a hard one. Wow. Right now, I'm watching Euphoria as it's coming out. So that's like a current watch, but like a good comfort show. A good comfort show, Pretty Little Liars. I always end up rewatching that one. Vampire Diaries, always end up rewatching that one. Those are just like my old favorite like teenager shows, so they were
Yeah.
just like comforting. Um, Movies. This isn't really a relaxing one, but Black Swan is like one of my favorite movies of all times. So that one is just also a comfort, even though it's a messed up movie. I'm trying to think of like a good comedy that just always gets me. A
What about
good
the last movie you saw in a theater?
Oh, the drama was Zendaya and Robert Patterson. That was amazing. I recommend that film. It was incredible. It was a really good like escape reality movie because I remember it being done and I was like, wait, it's done? And I love that feeling as a movie because when they just go on for a little too long and you're like, I need to go to the bathroom, I need to go home. But like that one like shocked me and I went into it like blindsided, like I had no idea of the like anything about the film, so it was a really entertaining watch.
Yeah. Now, when you were a little kid,
Hmm.
just growing up, before you were watching, the Vampire Diaries and the Pretty Little Liars and anything, was there anything that you watched growing up?
Me and my sister were such Disney girls, like Hannah Montana, Good Luck Charlie, all of those were just the best shows ever. And I recently rewatched Hannah Montana and I was like, this is amazing. Like that's not a kid show. Like I love that show.
Well, Erin, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to share with us. And people should definitely be going out and watching Your Friend and Neighbors because, like I say, I've watched season one and it's a great show. And I'm glad to see that it's back. And I can't wait to watch it again and see you in it. And congratulations once again.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun and I appreciate the support for the show.
And there she is, Erin Robinson from Your Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm. Definitely a rising star. Catch her on Apple Plus on Your Friends and Neighbors. Don't want to miss that. Please remember to share my posts when I post them up on Facebook and Instagram so we can get the word out about On Screen and Beyond. It also helps get more fascinating guests here on the show. Subscribe to On Screen and Beyond on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube. Doesn't cost anything, and they will immediately get the episode out to you as soon as I put it up. So be sure to check that out. And remember, we have over 790 episodes of great guests for the movie, TV, and music industry over the years, the past 19 years. Check them all out. YouTube, unfortunately, we only started doing YouTube this past year. So we got about a year's worth up there. But you can still get all the audio versions on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and everything else. So a lot of great guests that we've had. So check it out. And that's it. That's a wrap for this episode of On Screen and Beyond. So until next time, when we once again take you on screen and beyond, I'm Brian Zemrak. Take care.